Have you ever noticed that trends in men's fashion seem to just come and go? It feels like as soon as you understand what's in, something else just takes its place. The constant adaptation of new trends raises an even bigger question. Is fashion moving too fast for its own good? In today's video, we'll explore why trends in men's fashion are accelerating, how it impacts your wardrobe, so let's dive into it. To understand how we got here, let's just take a step back. Years ago, trends in men's fashion evolved at a much slower pace. Think about the baggy era, which started in the 80s and evolved into the 2000s. That specific style dominated for over 3 decades. For the most part, it stuck around, giving people plenty of time to decide if it was for them, whether you wanted to fully embrace it or even just try something new. But then a shift began. A new dominant trend rose to the top, and of course, we're talking about when skinny jeans took the spotlight. For the most part, these styles didn't just pop up and then immediately disappear. The styles within this era became cultural moments and even staples. So all this to say, this evolution didn't happen overnight. There was a natural flow as to how these trends really emerged. Well, they started with designers, trickled down to the mainstream brands, and then eventually became a part of our daily wardrobe. And now fast forward to today, it feels like these trends just come and go and disappear because the entire system that once dictated how trends evolved has been flipped on its head. It seems that trends emerge at lightning speed, making it even harder to keep up. What used to take years to reach the mainstream culture now feels like it just happens in the matter of weeks. So what caused this to shift? Let's talk about the biggest disruptor: social media. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest have completely redefined how trends are created and consumed. Instead of waiting for runway shows or the seasonal collection, one viral post can spark a trend overnight. A single outfit video on TikTok can get millions of views, and all of a sudden everyone is buying into that look. But here's the catch: because social media thrives on the next big thing, these trends quickly die out. Think about gorpcore. While the clothing is extremely functional, especially in climates where it's needed, it went from being a niche style to having a dominant place in men's fashion for a while. And then just like that, it disappeared. People weren't wearing it as often. It stopped being the next big trend. It stopped feeling like the next big thing. It's not just the speed that's the issue, it's also the saturation. Social media creates an echo chamber where we see the same styles repeated until they eventually just lose their edge. They start to feel overdone. And let's be clear, it's not just the aesthetics that drives this change. Social media algorithms reward creators for constantly posting fresh content. This means fashion creators like myself are constantly thinking about what is the next big thing, which is why you see new looks and trends popping up all the time. And for the average person, this might create a sense of FOMO. It may even push us to try new trends that we don't necessarily like, but just try it anyways to feel current. So the question really is, how sustainable is this? If social media is the engine driving fast trends, then fast fashion is the fuel that keeps it going. Think about it. Brands like Zara, H&M, and Shein have built their business models around responding to these trends as quickly as possible. A style blows up online, and within weeks you'll see it on the shelves, or even sooner on their websites. I mean, it's kind of impressive, and in some ways, it could also be beneficial. Fast fashion gives people the opportunity to experiment with different styles, especially without having to commit to the cost. It's a great way to discover your style and try new things before deciding if it's worth investing. It was one of the things that helped me when I was deciding how I wanted to look and dress. So I'm definitely not knocking it by any means. While fast fashion makes things more accessible, it can also affect the longevity of any certain look. Social media, fast fashion, and marketing campaigns make it feel like you're always one step behind. All of this creates an enormous pressure to keep up, especially for those who want to stay in the loop. It always feels like there's a constant push to update your wardrobe, even if those pieces don't necessarily match with your style. And then you're faced with a new issue. All of the things that you've purchased now don't match the things that you already have. So you might have a closet full of all the latest trends, but then you'll find that they don't necessarily work together. The best way to describe it is that if you had puzzle pieces from different sets and tried to put them together, I mean, it's never going to work. This not only makes it harder to get dressed, but it also makes you feel like you're always starting from scratch because you haven't even been given the chance to solidify your own look. And there's also the financial strain of trying to keep up with all these trends. Because let's be honest, buying all of these things aren't going to be cheap either, especially if you find yourself buying into the next trend every few months. But it doesn't have to be this way, so let's dive into a few solutions. So the key to navigating in all of this chaos is just learning how to find your own lane. So while trends are fun to try out, your personal style should really be grounded in what works best for you and what makes you feel the best, regardless of what's trending at the moment. So next time that you're out shopping, look for the things that speak to your personality and your style, not just what you see on TikTok. For example, if you're like me and it's colder where you're at, take a time to invest in some classic wardrobe staples, especially in the winter season. Things like a winter coat, a solid cashmere or wool sweater, or even some nice boots are things that'll really never go out of style. Of course, different styles are going to trend more than others. Right now it seems to be the square-toed boot, but these core pieces never really go out of style. They always stick around. They're what we call timeless. And like I mentioned, you can add those trendy elements. Feel free to get the square-toed boots. Feel free to get the chunky knit scarf. Or maybe even a specific sneaker that you saw while scrolling. Ultimately, trends will always be around, and there's really no way to escape them at this point. Now, among all of this chaos, there has been a growing movement to timeless style. Instead of chasing all of the trends, I do feel like men are buying into those things that are really never going to go out of style. For example, tailored blazers, leather boots, quality denim, natural basics. These are wardrobe staples that just pay off year after year. When your wardrobe is built on quality items, you're not constantly chasing what's next because you already have a solid foundation. Instead, this allows you to add things in selectively. Look at someone like David Beckham. His style evolves, but it's always rooted in classic, wearable pieces. And this is something that I aim for because I think that's when you really start to develop your own personal taste. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with the speed of all these trends, I'm going to dive into a few tips that might help you navigate the chaos. Start with a solid foundation. Build your wardrobe around versatile pieces that create a foundation. Can really help create a backbone for your style no matter what type of trends come and go. Another thing, you don't have to try every single trend that comes along. Focus on the things that genuinely catch your attention and that match your personal taste. If a certain piece or style is trending, you don't need to revamp your entire wardrobe. Maybe you just try a few things within that trend and see if it works for you. Rather than chasing every new look, invest in fewer high-quality items that will serve you for years to come. Maybe it's something like a quality leather jacket. Define your personal style. Trends can be fun, but they should always complement your core style, not necessarily define it. Take some time to hone in on those things that feel authentically like you. This way you can confidently integrate anything you'd like without feeling super weird about it. So are trends moving too fast? The answer is absolutely. The combination of social media and fast fashion has created a system that moves at an extreme rate. But the great thing is that you don't have to participate in all of that. You can just stick to the things that you genuinely like. At the end of the day, your style is yours. It should be authentic to you. Just wear what you like, and it's as simple as that. But if you want my golden advice, try to stick to those timeless items so you can build a solid wardrobe and not have to worry about what next trend is coming up next because you already look good. So what do you think? Are trends moving too fast for you, or do you enjoy the constant evolution? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.